Yeah, it was definitely was, but it was crazy, man. I mean, the Knicks are really good. I mean, they are really good. And that's not to say, and that's not taking anything away from the Celtics because I'm talking about they were battling from the very beginning. I mean, for 4 quarters. It wasn't like, I'm gonna play light for 3 quarters and then in the fourth quarter, I'm gonna go ahead. It was, I mean, all the way, man, from the very beginning. And it was like, and they was playing in Boston. So it was like Boston was, it's like the Celtics was like, yo, you're not gonna come up here and show us up in Boston. We know you good, Knicks, but you ain't gonna come up and show us up here in Boston. And the Celtics wound up winning too. That was really something. Good game.
Let me, listen, I mean, your excitement was only bolstered by the fact that, what the score was 123, 117. And again, the Knicks, man, they have a good team, but I think is my problem with the team as it's currently constructed is on the defensive side. The defense is allowing too many points. So you're scoring 117 points, but you allow the other team to score 123. And that's where we're going to wind up having our most challenges. That's something that you saw in the game. Is it something you can point to, that maybe points that out?
Well, what I found as far as the game was concerned, I thought that their defense was really good. I thought their defense was,
Didn't it?
yeah. I thought then, I mean,
Okay.
like I said, they battled for 4 quarters. They battled for 4 quarters. They battled, man, for 4 quarters. So it wasn't like, I mean, it wasn't like there was some well, as a matter of fact, at the very beginning of the game, the Knicks was ahead of them, was up by 20 in the first quarter. They was up by 20 in the first quarter.
But
And
this is exactly what my point is. And you're expressing it right there, and that is, you're up by 20 points.
right.
At that moment, it should be lock in, keep this team down, right? Making sure you have stops and you prevent turnovers. But what happens a lot of the times with the Knicks is they lose focus. It feels to me, and they lose focus, and then they're either fighting to maintain this level of intensity, or they wind up needing to really put out a lot of energy. Coming from behind, they're down 20, and they got to come from behind. They do that well. But they also, again, in these situations, seem to less to when they're up, by so many points.
Well, I didn't see it like that. What I saw was that the Celtics actually made an extra effort, and I don't think it had anything to do with defense. I think it just had to do with the creativity and the setups that the Celtics winded up developing as the game went on. I think that I think that the Knicks did everything that they could to stop them, but the Celtics just put a little extra oomph into it in order to catch up.
Well, I tell you, it's going to continue to roll over, man, into these Emirates Cup games, man, which are really, starting to heat up. We've
Yes.
got a great, we've got a great setup for that right now. We've got Oklahoma City, and they'll be playing against the Phoenix Suns in the quarterfinals. The Lakers and the Spurs. That's the bracket over on the West, and then you're going to have Orlando and Miami on the East, as well as Toronto and the Knicks. So they're the teams, 18 that will be competing for the Emirates Cup, which I think begins on December 9th,
Right.
which is this
Couple.
week coming up
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
10th.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this here, man. I tried to watch OKC, and I forgot the team. It might have been Dallas. It might have been Dallas, but I mean, man, I mean once OKC got ahead, I turned the channel, man. I mean, they was up by 20, man. In first quarter, man, they was up by 20. I said, man, I was like, I don't need to watch anymore because I like to see, like a good game. You know what I mean? I like to see a good game. But OKC is just so, dominant, man. Like, somebody explained them as, like, yo, they the Harlem Globetrotters of the NBA at this point, man. With their creativity and the way that they can get to the basket. I mean, it's just crazy. Whenever SGA, man, whenever he shoots, if he's in, it's a done deal. It's done. It's done.
Well, well, you know what is really amazing about this is the fact that they're on this 22-1 roll. This is one of the best starts in NBA history, right? After of last year's, historic individual performance, the team is now going on this team performance, and they're all bought in. You
Yeah,
can see it every single time they
yeah,
play. They're all bought into their roles. And Shane, as the leader, he really shares and empowers his teammates. You see it every single time they play. There is an understanding that he wants them to succeed just as much as he wants to succeed.
yeah.
And it's showing by the record that they have.
Yeah, and he's smooth too, man. I mean, I don't hear anything about him in the news. I don't hear anything about
Right.
him, man. Man, he always has this little smile on his face, man. That makes it like, he's just a laid back guy, man. And that makes it happen, man. But what do you think about are you going to say anything about the Lakers? With LeBron coming back and Reese and Doncic. What do you think about that? They just seem to be too laid back to me, man. It's like they're laid back on, kind of things. They're we that Hollywood team. That's how they seem to me.
What it feels like when it comes to the Lakers is that they definitely turned the corner. They understand what they do well, and they're putting it together. Remember, there was a lot of turmoil around last year's team. I think coming into the year last year, the 24-25 season, you had JJ Redick coming in as the head coach. There was the controversy around the fact that LeBron had a great deal to do with making him the coach in terms of the latest. Then you had the whole situation where they weren't doing very well. Then you the trade, right? And Luca comes over. So now Luca comes over. You're trying to figure out what's going on. LeBron is surprised. The team's not really together. You had a lot of moving pieces. I think this year, they're uh, they coming off of last year's craziness. There was a real plan, plan to put Luca first. So during the summer, there was a lot of promoting Luca all over the place, especially on the ground with the youth, right? And really getting them into places all across the world, whether that was here in the United States or it was overseas. To places where there were younger people playing in tournaments, pushing the fact that he has the with Jordan brand, and of course his connection to the Lakers. So
Mhm.
the rollout has been great. I think teams when LeBron and Luka were down, really stepped into a role that, that solidified him as this third piece
True.
in the rotation that can really provide a steady hand if the two stars go out. He
Right.
can really be depended upon to step into the first role. It's for a couple of games, right? You can't expect him to do that the entire season, but for 3 or 4 games, as we saw, the sample size,
Yeah.
James was really good. So the Lakers are really positioned to do something great. It's 16-6, which is unexpected, but a great spot to be.
Yeah. 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 I'm really impressed with basketball this season because,
Mhm.
like I said, man, these young boys, these youngins that's coming in is it and the way that they're being coached. They're really getting, very good energy. I was really surprised in on the Celtics. They had this guy named Walsh. I'd never even heard of him, man. But this guy Walsh, I mean, he just kind of stepped up. I was like out of nowhere, it's like, oh, who is this guy? And the next thing you know, he's hitting threes and like being dominant on the board. And I'm like, who is it? I was like, whoa, what is this? And it's like the they gave them an opportunity to play, and White is another guy. I see him like say SGA, because he just has this face that's so innocent. It's like, he just got this, laid back kind of thing with his bald head. He just got this laid back there, and he just does his work, man. I mean, he just works it. He knows how to work that three. So he's really a leader also. I mean, it's not to say anything about Jalen Brown. I mean, Jalen was kill when it's time to be killing. Jalen kills him. But what's the name of the other player that is out right now that's on the Celtics?
Jason Tatum.
What's going on with him, man?
He remember tore his Achilles tendon last year in the playoffs,
Mm.
and so he is out for the entire year.
Dang.
But they show multiple videos of him. He's getting himself ready. They say he's way above schedule in terms of his return. I'm sure they're going to be very cautious about bringing him back. And I would think that this year is off the table. Maybe if they wanted to do something by the end of the season, maybe ramp him up before playoffs, that's possible. But it looks as if he won't be back. And so it's really Jalen Brown's thing, man. It's really Jalen Brown's time to prove the reason why they gave him that big contract, right? He's the guy that can continue to lead them towards championships. And with the guys he's got around him, that doesn't seem to be something he's capable of doing, along with the good coaching of what's my guy, man? I can't forget his name, the little coach, man.
Lou?
He does such a good job.
Lou? I know Lou is Lou is
No, that's my phone. Let me make sure that I grab his name, man.
you grab his name, but also, man, what about Kyrie? Everybody's waiting for Kyrie to come back too.
Oh, yeah, Kyrie is going to come back. That, that's going to be great when you talk about the playoffs. He's going to be someone who, again, is ramping up probably after the All-Star break, after about 40 games. You have that All-Star break. Everybody messed up, and then the second part of the season, they're expecting him to be back. We're talking about maybe January, February. We'll probably start seeing him playing some more. But definitely he'll be restricted his minutes, trying to ramp him up to get him ready for the playoffs. Because Dallas has an opportunity. Again, if they can keep Anthony Davis
Right. Yeah.
the team that they have, along with the good coaching of Jason Kidd, and add in Kyrie Irving, especially down the stretch. I mean, they've got just as much of a chance as anybody, in terms of the playoff series. You put them on the field against anybody, you never know what will happen.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The coach of the Celtics is Joe Mazzulla.
Oh, Joe Mazzulla. Okay. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
He does a great job.
He does.
The Ime Udoka thing, he does a great job. But let us shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about Detroit. Have you checked out the Detroit Pistons this year?
No, I haven't.
They are leading the Eastern Conference in wins. And, pretty shocking everyone with the way in which they beat team last year to this year. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I would say this here, I know that Sister Martha, she does watch basketball. She just hasn't had a chance because this week was they were doing a fundraising this week on at a on with CWSC American Muslim 360. But Sister Martha, what do know anything
I had
about
a
Detroit?
chance.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I did have a chance to watch certain games just abstract wise. But one thing, what question I always go to is how we relate to the psychology of it and the effect of the players. Like you were calling the names out, William, and there's an internal thing that goes on in our makeup, our psyche. When we speak about players and when we speak about basketball, it's like on a relief valve, even though we're living through those persons, in other words, while they're playing, and the enthusiasm. And so I asked AI Gemini the question about LeBron's impact. They've actually given it the LeBron persona. And I'm sure all players that we spoke of last week and the week before, um, you know, how they're impacting the scene, not just physical prowess, but economics. And I wonder if we can, because different not newspaper, books, magazines are watching them, different authors are following them and seeing how they're impacting the economic stream. But how is that uh, translating into the younger generation really using the wisdom of finances? Because we spoke about the one from what do you say? You say practice, practice. Are we talking about practice? Uh, what's his name? Yeah, you know. So the trials that he went through, and many have gone through, losing their financial grip, and then realizing, oh man, I had it all. And then what do you do now? So are you seeing that the younger ones are becoming more financial gurus with their physical use of themselves right now in the field of basketball?
What's great about this conversation is that the Detroit star, Kane Cunningham, he was recently on a podcast where he was interviewed by Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant has a podcast called The Game. They were talking about a unique journey to the NBA and the NBA's part of to financial success. Right? So he's a young guy. He comes from the Midwest. He's been on the radar in terms of becoming a star since he was pretty young. You know, he grew, in high school for about 6, 7, and was recruited by all of the colleges all throughout the country with the understanding that he was already a father. He had his current wife is uh, raising a child, and it has been since high school.
Hmm.
And so while he was in high school, he became a father. And so it became crucial to him to explore this gift that he was given. And he went into the summer after high school, really focused and was able to procure a college, a D1 scholarship at Oklahoma State University, which, by the way, was in his team. Like I said, he's from that area, and also his brother was one of the coaches on the team. So it really paid off well for him to stay home, stay with his family, be close to his friends and family, so he could grow in that college year. And so what that gave him, he said, was stability. He really learned how to uh, recognize the opportunity to keep his head calm, know that there's a bigger picture, while still concerning himself with the passion that he had. Losing himself for it making it just a job, but the opportunity to have a job he can be passionate about to for his family.
Mhm.
And so I think a lot of the younger generation is when they have stability, something that is holding them to a certain expectation, they do much better. And so also a person like Jalen Brunson, same thing, married with a wife, very stable, so he produces at a certain level. Shea Gillis Alexander, same thing, married with a young child, stable. These things I think are part of the new generation of stars. They're very aware of their impact. I think because social media is so prevalent, and they realize, especially with people around them, how to utilize that in a better way. But they are making lots of money, and I think they realize
Let
it,
me ask you a
and there's
question.
more of a competition. But let me just finish this
Okay,
properly.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's more of a
About that, yeah.
competition. There's more of a competition every day, and it's coming from players like Luka and Giannis Antetokounmpo. You also have Alexander who are coming from other places who are realizing the opportunity to solidify generational change and wealth.
You know, uh, I, I think there's a point that all of us have observed, all of us in our environment, our social environments as we move around, whether you're in California, whether you're in Florida, whether you're in New York. But that is that we don't see many people over 6'5" walk moving around in our environment. And so I wonder with these when you act that when you're like that, what is it that where do you go? I mean, what do you do? Do you just have people that shop for you or do something like that? Because we don't see people that, a lot of people that are that tall moving around in the environment.
I really couldn't speak to it, but I will say, in terms of a system was asking again, when you have when you're able to have a certain attribute, and that attribute is in, especially in our culture of basketball today, there is a job for you, right? Like many people who get involved, interested in any particular occupation, there is an opportunity to support yourself in this particular occupation. And you get a chance. I think guys 6'5", 6'6", they get a chance, man, and they have the opportunity to live further from us, not in the city. Maybe living in some more comfortable environments because of the way they're able to cash in on that particular attribute.
Mm.
But again, we do see folks moving around in the city who are tall, maybe have had some other challenges and not been able to capitalize on that.
Yeah, I don't see it much. Do you see it much, Sister Martha, in your area? Do you see tall people moving around in your area, Sister Martha?
Nope, not like that. Not like 6'5".
It's like,
If so, and then you brought when you brought that up, I was like, yeah, where do they socialize? Where do
right.
they where do they can feel comfortable socializing? Unless
Because
it's in a place arena of sports or maybe they go to the track races. I don't know.
because when I see, and especially if I see a woman who's really tall like that, it's like, I mean, I have no, all I have to, I just stare. Oh, wow. Look how tall she is.
Well, I do think there is another part of that um, playing out in society when that's not your circle,
Mm.
right? For instance, I make this comparison when I started hanging out more with a friend of mine who was in a wheelchair. I started recognizing people in wheelchairs.
Mm. Mm.
So I think there is just a
Mm.
kind of mental thing
Mm.
where if you're not in a circle of these individuals, if you're not really around someone who is 6'6",
Mm. Mm.
on a regular basis, then you don't pay attention to people who are 6'6". It may not even dawn on you that they're that tall. I remember one time I was downtown and some of the opposing players from one of the NBA teams were walking 34th Street. And when I saw them, I said, "That's tall."
Mm.
And so again, I think that it can be a. Let me mention this here too, because this has always been a controversy, and that is Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant just went through 31,000 career points scored in the NBA. He is oftentimes questioned about his height, where people believe he is 7 with the skill set of guard. But he oftentimes says, no, he's 6'9". And it's always a wonder why he would try to change it. Right? Like, if someone's 17 and can do what Kevin Durant can do, just scoring 31,000 points, why would he want to make himself seem short? Like I don't know what that whole thing
The
is about.
comparison, the whole idea about comparing him to other 7-footers. So he, plays it lower. I'm not that tall, type of thing. Yeah, I'm just 6'9". They take the heat off of him.
Actually being 7 feet tall and being able to do the thing that he does, adds more of the goal, right, to his whole legacy. Is the fact that this guy is tall and can do the things that he's been able to do so consistently to clear his weight. I think one of the things that people, when he first came to college, where when he was in college, it was ridiculous. I hadn't heard of him until that first year he went to Texas. He went to Texas. He averaged like 26 points and like 10 or 11 rebounds as a freshman, playing against all of these college guys, and it just was truly amazing. So when he was drafted to the NBA, it was like, well, you know what he's gonna have to do when he plays against men. He's gonna go play against these men, and these men are gonna be physical, and they're all gonna be strong, and he can swim. And all he's been able to do is just destroy everybody for 18 years and rack up 31,000 points. What an incredible achievement.
Well, I saw an interview with Kevin Durant on The Pivot, which is a show that comes on, it's a podcast that comes on. They have football, these guys that are football players, but they had Kevin Durant on, and they were asking him some really tough questions, man. They asked him some tough questions about, you've been doing this long, and, when are you going to retire? And, like, what if you get hurt? And Kevin Durant was like, this is like, look, like he said, yo, they put you on these teams, you've been on all these teams, and they made you, do this and that. He said, listen, man, wherever they play me, he says it doesn't matter because I just like to play basketball. He said, I just like to play basketball. He said, well, when you gonna retire? He said, listen, even if I retire, I'm still gonna be playing basketball. He said, even I'm.
No. That's what I mean about. That's what I mean about passion.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So be a tall guy and get a job working in the NBA and make good money. Never really nothing.
Right. Yeah.
But you are a tall guy who spends all the time playing basketball, who loves it at that level. Where money, you don't even care about the money.
Right.
When the money's gone and the spotlight's gone and all that, you're still gonna get a dog gym, then food with people. You just love playing the sport of basketball.
Right. That's what
you want to see every time you turn on a basketball game. You would love to see that in every single player.
Yeah. Sister Martha, what you think about Kevin Durant? Yeah, she's busy doing on, trying to get the
I love him. I didn't realize I was on mute. I
yeah.
said I love him, and I think even the soft hair spot in the top of his head. I don't know why that stands out to me.
Oh, you
I do
noticed that, huh?
But it seems like it adds to his. But he's so disciplined,
Oh, man.
and he
Oh,
keeps
man.
that non-angry look. Where you don't really see him I don't see him frustrated. I've seen him
Right.
throw his hands
True.
up,
Very true.
when he knew
Yeah,
he was filed against, but he easily calms down.
he
He is
does.
definitely not
He does.
one who will kick the bench or go flaring his arms or anything like that. He's not disrespectful to himself and the game.
Yeah, yeah. He said that too. He said, man, yo, he can.
Man, look, the basketball spot in the top of his head. I just, anytime I see it, it makes me so upset that he goes to the bar and gets a lot. I just want you to go and cut that off, baby. You're gonna be okay, brother. Cut the thing off, man. It's all right, man. It's gonna be okay.
Vanity of vanities. Yeah, right.
Yes. But I remember him with OKC, right? He was with OK.
Okay, the do rag is over. I don't want to see you wrong. The do you conferences. Come again. Oh man, too much. Well, anyway, listen, just want to also say thank you for tuning in, hanging out with us, man. We having a good time as always. Talking basketball here again. It's been great to see the Emirates Cup. It has injected some intensity into the league.
Yes.
It's incredible what the Oklahoma City Thunder are doing out there in the West, just in general to the NBA. 22-1, great start. I can't wait to see what they do as the season continues. And looking at Kevin Durant and
Yeah, it's like that.
he can be number 8 on the scoring list, with over 31,000 points. Just an amazing career. We have to give thanks to the NBA as well for putting some things in place that have improved the product. Uh, really has been a great season so far, and hopefully it's going to continue down that path. But to bring it into another space, really talking about court stuff, um, and really fit the mark that this is where we should bring you back in for these conversations. What we're seeing a lot of influence. Not only that the NBA is having players, but the players, the way in which the game is projected out into the community and into society. Many more children want to be a basketball player. First, that was the case, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But today, it's really a global phenomenon. It continues to grow as brand. Is it going in the right direction? And with the history of where things are, do you think that the towards these younger players really believing that they can, and eventually attain this thing would, be more detrimental than to another generation of young athletes?
And I had to draw from what you were saying because it's sketchy on my part because of my Wi-Fi. But I think you were asking about the young people and the direction of the NBA as it relates to the young people of today. Is that, am I getting it right, William?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I,
the players are influencing that generation.
the players influencing this generation.
Especially about the dream of being there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Now not just a national thing anymore. It's a global dream.
Yeah.
For millions and millions of kids. And so again, they're fighting for 485 jobs. That's it. There's only 485 jobs. So you have these millions and millions of kids going for 485 jobs. How do you think that that's affecting
I
as they move towards their dreams?
I think it's going to evolve. Using that word again, William. I think it's going to evolve to, like you're saying, the 485. I think it's going to evolve into other aspects of NBA as we know it. It's going to become. It may get more, more. What do you call it? Just like the NBA, it may be something else to be competitive with the NBA, with the young people because of the limited. Uh, Numbers that you get the same kind of energy, the same application, the same drives and the interests, but I think it will build just like hip hop came into an arena
Yeah.
within the music world.
Hmm.
It wasn't the old it wasn't jazz, and it wasn't the blues, but it drew from it, but it created a whole new uh, era and arena. And so basketball is one thing, just like they've taken baseball, and now they have this paddle, but they call the game now with it used to
Yeah.
be high lie, and then now they have a rendition of that. So a lot of things have evolved using the ball as
Yes.
the tool, but the spectators see the energy and the drive. So whatever it comes out to be, it's going to be of the NBA likeness, but it's going to be something else to give people choices.
And I would just like to say on top of that that I would say like to say with that that what we actually are seeing is artistic development. That basketball is, well, all sports basically is an art. It's an art because I mean, the goal and objective is either to get the ball by the over the line, to be able to hit the ball as far as out you can so that you can run about the bases, to get the bad ball in the hoop. And it's how creative can you be in making that and getting that ball, in the hoop, or over the net. How creative, and I think that that's what we're seeing when you watch football and you watch how creative the plays are, about how creative these athletes have to be as far as their running techniques are concerned. To jump over people, to jump around people, to spin. These are creative ideas that have come into football, over a period of time that have developed, and it's the same thing with basketball. I mean, that 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 you showed, Cavell, you probably get into it about the dunk where the guy just skywalked. I mean, he was up in the air for a long period of time. He was, I mean, we think about Jordan going from the foul line, to dunk the basket, but now these guys, I mean, they can just jump higher than they used to. I was watching, some gymnastic. There was a guy. This guy, he spun around 3 times. He was 3 or 4 times he spun around, before he landed. I mean, but this here is artistic and creative development as time is going on, and it's just going to get more artistic and more creative as time goes on, and that's what we're looking for. That's why we like Kyrie Irving, because of the creativity that he actually brings to the game, and Michael Jordan and all the rest of them. That's what we like about them. That's all I'll say about it.
What's been amazing to me is just remembering my initial excitement of watching basketball as a young person. There were all these characters, and these characters were built not only on the games these individuals had developed through their determination and commitment to their skills and growing those skills, but also other people recognizing and then giving these things to, our feet. Shit. And he was coming down court. His name really wasn't Magic. He's Irvin Johnson. But when we watched him play, I watched him play, he looked like he was doing magic.
Right.
Just by the way he moved, the things he did with it. And I can understand why that name fit, or Dr. J, in the air, people saying, look how he moved and was able to create something out of nothing, how he operated in the air, the doctor with his surgery, that type of stuff, was able to connect to those posters that used to come out, the Slam magazine that used to come out. All of these things that created an imagination for a generation of young people. And I think today, what you're really seeing is you're seeing the culmination of a generation of young people who have been exposed to basketball in different ways that we had never been exposed. We didn't have full access to games going on in the country. Today, you can reach the three games at the same time. Main one and first time game. This is really an amazing. Well, and it's, like Sister Martha said, that there continues to be offshoots. We should mention that there is SQ Big Three League.
Yes.
Which plays on CBS.
Oh, it's going to
definitely
say that again, Bill. Say that again. It's going to play on CBS.
So the Big Three.
Repeat it for our audience, William.
I don't know if there's going to be a change, but the Big Three was founded by Ice Cube, the rapper Ice Cube, that it plays on CBS. Now, I don't know if that is in the summertime or if there's going to be some change to it, because I know he's trying to grow the brand. The NBA, his team has been really camped and supported, maybe making some bigger moves that the NBA really didn't want, but is at this point probably not able to stop. So what you said was actually right on point, Sister Martha. There's also a bunch of other leagues. Like there's this underground league. It's called Next Chapter. Next Chapter, what they do is these one-on-one games, and these one-on-one games are sponsored by a number of those gambling sites or
Yeah.
other things like clothing brands or sports drinks.
Mm-hmm.
One game, and sometimes the pot is $10,000, $30,000, and the bigger brands have caught on to it too. They just recently did one this summer, which was called the Jordan One-on-One, which actually has a one-on-one tournament where people competed in a bracket-like situation in order to win in that country and then come to the United States and play here, which they did in the summer right downtown by Chelsea Piers to compete for a Jordan brand contract. So, there was lots of things happening, really, really changing the way in which basketball is presented to us. And we'll see how it continues to change and evolve, as you said, Mr. Martha.
They had, well, according to the Big Three, they had 11 weeks of play that started June 14th, and it ended in week 11 ended in August 24th of this year. Yeah.
Again, and the Big Three has again spawned some other stuff. Like I said, next chapter. And I just saw also that Library is doing something called well ball, where it's like a shooting competition between teams. NBA players on those teams who have, of course, retired, but are still, capable of doing certain things at a high level.
Right.
And so, well ball is supposed to get introduced into the spectrum of, basketball activities people watch.
Alhamdulillah. That's good.
I
That's good.
I think one thing in the midst of all of that is the ethical thing that is having to be maintained, and that is being maintained, I should say. This is why they speak highly against gambling in the sports. It happens, but I'm only thinking about it because when you speak of the young people, they're
Yes.
connected to gambling, but they're connected to
They are.
gambling in a way that it doesn't to them, it's not unethical. So they're going to evolving. They're going to have to find a way to not allow the gambling immediately in a circle of the play of the game. The people around it, as people around it are gambling every day about who's going to do who, but it cannot get infused into the game.
Well, that's the pissed off part about it with me.
Mhm.
I'm pissed off about the gambling thing because all I see is these black, black men, pushing gambling and black men pushing drinking alcohol. I see. I don't. That's what I see, and I think that and famous. We're talking about famous, the famous black men.
Yeah, they use them. They use them.
They're using them, and to push, these things that are not good. Gambling is not good.
It's not
Gambling
good.
is not good. I mean, it's a rigged system. It's a rigged
Yes.
system to a great degree. I don't know, maybe as far as sports is concerned, but all those machines and everything is concerned,
Hmm.
it's rigged. That's a rigged system. You're rigged to lose. And alcohol is not good at all. I mean, if you get caught, you're done. Once you get caught,
And
as far as a habit is concerned, your body needs that alcohol, you're done.
and then the idea of open carry, put that into the mix.
Well, that's not going to be in New York, but I understand what you're saying in Florida, Sister Martha. Y'all
Yeah.
got it down there. Y'all got open carry down there in Florida.
And stand your ground. Now put
And
the two
stand your
together.
ground.
Put the two together
Lord, Lord,
and
Lord.
go and put the sports into the mix of it.
Right, playing on the. I mean, I remember being on the basketball court, and there was a guy, like he had an argument. He went to his car and brought out a duffel bag and placed it on the court. It was full of guns and rifles, and he was
Mm,
like, "Yeah, now what?"
mm. See?
That was his attitude. Yeah, now what? You want to argue? Now what? That was his attitude, and it's like, oh man. But that's where I mean, it's not like that now. I haven't seen that because I haven't been in the hood to that degree. But Cavell, it's not like that in the hood now anymore, right?
So what I would say is that there is always this cloud that hangs over anything that has to do with our culture. Right? And so we know that basketball is a culture, has a lot of elements of the Black American culture. The association has made the owners extremely rich. At the same time, that there is oftentimes these deviant, um, deceitful things going on in terms of the culture and everywhere in every part of the cultures. There is also the tons and tons of people within our culture who have been able to color. So a lot of these young men who are participating in the NBA come from families that don't reside in the neighborhood a lot of the time. A lot of these young men, because of the movement through the civil rights movement, um, and time, those laws for the integration to occur has really put people, especially these young basketball players, in a position to be a little bit further away from the hood. As a matter of fact, they usually play on teams that come to the hood to gain grit, to gain more of a reality check on how hungry they need to be, because there are going to be people in the neighborhood who are going to be hungry to get money, to be hungry to move their families out. And so people from a better situation who may have been in those neighborhoods and those situations earlier, bring their children back, and their children can recognize, what they should feel like, what they should be about, what they have today that gives them an opportunity and advantage, that they need to come back here and honor the things that matter for them. So I do want to remember and make sure, not remember, but highlight, it's really important that we gain from our neighborhoods. Sometimes it's not always the easiest, but struggle usually that pressure being common. And that's exactly what's happening in the NBA right now. We're going to continue doing what we do. I'm going to turn it over to you as we get ready to move into our 12 o'clock show. Let's talk real quick. Let everybody know what's going on, man, during the week here on A New Day.
One. All right.
Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. That's right. And so what we're getting ready to do, we're getting ready to move into our next segment. And here we go.
You know,
All right, now let's go about some of the quick hits. Let's go ahead with Mr. Cavell. Let's hear it. Where we at today on the conversation?
I'm not hearing him on this end.
Yeah, that's because he's on mute right now.
Oh,
Yeah. So right now, this is the conversation. Uh, It says the culture ain't just for the gram, it's for the soul. Stay real, stay rooted. Keep telling your story loud enough. Yes, yes. Go ahead, Cavell. So I'm just saying that there was some important information that Sister Martha mentioned in the last segment, and that was as far as hip hop was concerned and the evolution of hip hop and how it came from jazz and from all the other pieces that it came from. And I thought that was really important. What she said regarding that. So, let's take it from there. What are we talking about today in the conversation?
Well, so we can move into Let's Talk real quick. And of course, we want to thank you as always for tuning in with us, man. This is a community, baby. It's a community. And we rocking out. We the quick hit is digital experience. We continue to do this work here because as we move into the next year, just to give you a little update and highlight about what's going on with us over here with me. So the quick hit experience, we were just cleared by the Department of Education to go ahead and communicate with over 1,600 New York City schools. So we
really?
actively
You got
be
total
able to
clearance
1,500
to
New York City public schools in terms of maybe being able to partner with them on bringing after school programs and elective programs and hip hop teams into those particular buildings. We also have an opportunity to possibly reach into a pot of uh, charter schools, by talking with another partner of ours who I've just been introduced, who has a connection to charter schools and their sports and PSAL. PSAL is our public school athletic league, which does all the sports across the city. And so the charter school system also participates in the public school athletic league. And so that's another opportunity that's now on the table.
oops, I seem to have lost you. But that is wonderful news to everyone to know that the more we study culture from a broader standpoint, and the more we get to understand the human intellect and how the human intellect gravitates to uh, creation, and it's the intellect is diving into understand how it can use creation, and so we're affected by it, but we are also in it and we feel the effect. I can't, there,
So,
there we are.
okay, check us out within the last talk real quick, which is going to be our hip hop theme segment where we talk a little bit about the components. Today we're going to talk about my brother Common.
Ooh.
Common is powerful MC, man. One of the most MCs we've had in time of our rap hemisphere. He's been around for a long time. What you think about Common, man?
I was never really impressed with Common, as an MC. I wasn't really impressed with him, but I was impressed with his ability to put himself in all of the right places in order to establish himself as to be around the right people to do what it was. I don't know. It may have been, because of his look. Maybe it was his look. Maybe I was a little prejudiced with his look. Yeah, I might have been a little prejudiced. You know what I mean? I mean, cause I didn't like his swag. I really didn't like his swag, man. You know, man. His swag wasn't cool enough for me. And then I didn't like his rhymes. His rhymes was kind of like baby rhyme to me. It wasn't deep. But he did. But as time went on, he did make some really some really good tracks. As time went on, he did, and he did try to stay on the culturally connect. So I'll give him that he did that. Yes. But at first, I mean, but then, yeah, but then when he made then when he went on and he got into acting and all the rest of those kinds of things again, I wasn't impressed, but I was, but he had the tenacity. He had the tenacity. I wasn't impressed with his acting to a great degree. He always looked like he was just acting. He just looked like he was, but he put himself in the position to be able to do it. And that was, what was impressive to me.
And is
All
impressive.
right, love. Oh, how you doing? Thank you. Same to you,
He's
love.
also fall into that box. Um, Sister Martha, do you know who Common is?
Well, I just looked up the name. You said Common, right?
Yeah.
Lonnie Rashid Lynn, it says. I had to look it up. You know that, right?
Yes,
And
yes. So are you familiar with him and any of the things that he's done?
it's kind of breaking up in my ear.
No,
William,
I
repeat
get it.
that for me. What did Cavell say?
Oh, you know what, Sister Martha, you're not on.
I'm on with you.
You're on with me. You're right. So you're on through American Muslim 360.
Correct.
Right, but you're not on as far as okay, so that's why it's breaking up. Okay, go ahead. So we got it. So you can hear.
Okay.
Yeah, she was on with us. She was tied into a free conference call, but now she's just coming through. Um, uh, 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 uh,
I can go and reconnect with by my other phone. That way I can hear him clearer. I'll do that. Okay, continue.
okay, all right.
I'm staying on live right here and it'll be on both.
I would say is exactly what you said, Bob. And there are people who show up,
Yeah,
right? And when you show up, you are in the position to have an opportunity.
right.
And Common was in those spaces where he was able to capture opportunity.
Yes,
One of the things about Common is that Common is not from New York. Common is from Chicago.
right.
And so in Chicago, he was in the space with Kanye West and Twista. You know, basic or foundational pieces in Chicago. Obviously, there are others, but just around that time, you know, Kanye and Twista, they were able to kind of, pull together, meaning that energy that was coming out of Chicago, he was kind of the spearhead of, right? And then, of course, when that comes to New York,
Right.
right? Because you have to come to New York if you really want to in New York. And what Common did is he came at a time when you had the artist movement happening,
Yes.
in the 90s, where you had
Yes.
you had Ali, and
Yeah.
then you had in Philadelphia, the Roots came.
Yes.
Now you had the Roots.
Yes.
And so about that time that was happening along with Lauryn Hill and
Right.
collective of the Neo Soul that was happening, Andy Stone and Angelo, and like, he was a part of that. I think that's where the Trinity to be a part of what we now know is,
Yeah.
because not only was he able to give really good songs, and have some duets that are truly transformational, but he also has some stuff of his own really in material. Common has, again, put himself in the space as a rapper to be in the conscious space. He has enough material and work with enough conscious folk.
Yes.
To actually have a argument. He's one of the best when it comes to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here, in terms of these accomplishments, which I think need to be mentioned as well, is rap career. It has a Grammy,
Mm.
it has an Academy Award,
Wow.
it has an Emmy,
Wow.
and Common has a Golden Globe.
Wow.
So he has this guy been capable maintaining his position. You can go on YouTube, just you know him, places the team, you know, but you know this guy is the industry of entertainment is someone who is accomplished at a high level. He's got more awards than some actors and MPs who have been at it forever.
Muted.
Hold on for a second. Okay, Sister Martha. Okay, so what I have to do is this. Okay, Sister Martha, that's better. Okay, Cavell, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So I just want to give you a couple of his standout tracks, man. There's a couple of his standout tracks. Some of his standout tracks include, okay. Give me a second. Jonathan Legs. Wait, hold on. You're the singing. Wait. Hold on. They. Hold on. Rap.
The light. The light.
Now I'm actually right.
Yeah, look, can I play a little bit of it?
I used to love her.
Okay.
Really incredible. Go.
Go, yeah.
My favorite choice. What's my choice, man? I used to love her is a really good one too. With Mary J. Blige. She worked with Bilal. You know Bilal was my favorite brother. Taylor Stone.
Black Star.
I mean, he worked with Music Soul Child. You know what I mean? Like we you know, really incredible stuff. But guys, you go ahead and play the track, man. And play one.
Yeah, who's the artist? Who's the artist that's on him with the light? Because you know, the artist that is with him on the light that sings the chorus. You know, the artist that sings the
So
chorus.
that was produced by Jay Dilla.
Okay. This artist.
Yes. Yeah, you break it up, Bob. Yeah.
So that's so you don't hear it well?
You know, you just break it up. It sounds very mechanical.
Okay, all right. So we'll leave it alone. Okay. Okay. It's something that we're going to work on for 2026, you know, get the technology together, man, where we'll be able to make the presentation and make the presentation well as we move forward.
Yeah, what that song was, that's the one you was asking about. Dudes on that song.
Oh, okay.
Erica Badu's on that song. And that's the light. But Simon really has been someone who's been spreading messages, man, that resonate respect, self-awareness, and emotional honesty, as well as, you know, healthiness, being committed to one's mental and physical as well as spiritual growth. Talking a lot about mental health as well. Been in relationships with Steve Serena Williams, Abdul, uh, who was he just in just recently? He was with man,
Really?
he's always in relationships. Yeah, he's always in relationships with these really high frequency ladies, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And you know, even committing himself to celibacy, you know, and really, you know, looking at the entire group and himself as an individual and spreading that message through different tracks in this area. One of my favorites is called Fancy Free. Um, it's one of my favorites. One time I was kind of like messing around on like Vivo on my television, and these channels that they have on there, where they just have these artists kind of show up and they film them saying their rhymes in these really unique, you know, intricate abstract spaces. And they had Tom in there, and he was doing the song Fancy Free. Fancy Free. I mean, it's such a great song, man. Very catchy, very light, but definitely in the common vein, you know, uplifting, talking about the love between black females and black men, you know, uplifting in terms of the soul. Just great artist, I think, to represent. And his music can have these roots, and they stay within those roots. And a lot of the characters and stuff that he plays, even when he does his real, you know, visual stuff in the movies or television shows, it reflects the kind of artist that he is in his music.
Yeah. 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 You know,
Yeah.
shout out to him, no doubt, man. You know, he's made a lot of accomplishments, man, as far as the culture is concerned and represented pretty well. He really has.
He definitely has. And again, like I said, we'll definitely be sharing because on our social media platforms, what we do is after we have these conversations, we then take the artists, we create a list of the songs that people should check out. We throw that up on social media so that people can get an opportunity to see a little bit about the artist, but also check out some of the artist's music and see if you will have one of these into your playlist for when you're running down the street, running on the track, or you're driving in your car, or you know, you're just cleaning up at home. So it's just an opportunity for us to share some of the favorite artists that we have. And of course, all the time, right here on Let's Talk Real Quick, which is on a new day community radio in association with American Muslim 360. I am your host, Mr. Cavell. Of course, I'm always joined by Pop.
Yes, sir. That's right.
So we're about to jump into the next segment that we do, and it's called Quick Quotes. This is the segment in which we take an opportunity to celebrate an artist and their lyrical prowess. You know what I'm saying? Their ability to put together. And today, we're going to talk about one of my favorites, heroes, one of the dudes that put me on, and that is KRS.
Yes.
You already know. KRS one of the greatest MCs. What you think about the bro, man?
Well, I think that KRS-One has been another one who has definitely been representing as far as the culture was concerned. He has done it. And he's been able to maintain his status and his image. There's nothing negative to really say about him because they have not caught him in a negative circumstance and situation. So, his presentation and who he is, the way that he has always represented himself, has always come through to be clear and consistent even to this day. He's been, very consistent about what it is that he does.
Man, one of my favorite joints, man. And again, people always talk about stuff like, you know, the police. But let me tell you this right here. It's still coming to the point.
Yes, that's the sound of the beast, right? Yeah.
That's what he said. He said, stand here. They're not enough. You can't stand where I stand. You can't walk where I walk. We're on. Come, but we bust. I know this is you claim I'm selling crack, but you don't be doing that. I'm gonna see you because I would never be an officer. You wicked overseer. You thought you want to get props and be a savior. Yo, man, listen. I tell you, incredible. Don't show a little respect, change your behavior, change your attitude, change your plan. It could never really be justice on stolen land.
Right.
Yeah, KRS-One, man. Think about my philosophy. What I remember first was how
South
much you
Bronx.
remember that.
Oh yeah, South Bronx, South Bronx. Yeah.
You know what it was about that? It was that he not only did he have the crazy beat, right? 'Cause that beat, that when he did the song, but you know, we always like to go back and talk about the samples. That was evident. That was it. That was
Wow. Let me see here.
man, it's over. Like I get to over even before this was crazy. But he was talking, he was dealing with MC Sun, and he was telling Shan that I started in the Bronx and just Queen, don't tell these people that it was out there. You know what I'm saying? He started out here. Yo, man.
Was that I mean I don't know where that came from.
But it's incredible. You know what I mean? I
That
love that in that he started to chat the Jamaican DJ.
right, yeah.
When it was
Yeah, he was one of the first ones to do that. He was one of the first ones to do that. Yeah.
You're a philosopher. I think very deeply. Yeah.
Yeah.
KRS-One, man.
Oh, Lord. That was really something, right? Right. Self-destruction.
I mean, hold on. Hey, I didn't even bring it back. I keep going, man. KRS-One, legacy, the need, man, the number of people, man. Um, hearing him talk about the bridge that needs to be brought
See, but that,
from one generation to the other.
see, that's
About young sharing with the old and old sharing with the young. Just incredible stuff, man. You know, KRS-One. KRS-One is hip hop. KRS-One always talks about that is something that you do, and hip hop is something that you live. Because hip hop is the whole component, right? It's the music, it's the dance, the beat, it's the graffiti, it's the knowledge, right? The whole system. So, you know, Chris, man,
that was
man.
that's what Sister Martha was talking about at you know when she was talking about the beginning in that quote that you gave about about KRS-One. What's that quote that you gave about
Which one?
rap is you said
It's something you do,
yeah,
but hip hop is something you live.
there you go. There you go.
Mhm.
That's it right there. That's it right there. Hip hop is something that you live and it's and to and that's an experience, hip hop is something that has gone all over the world. And all over the world is hip hop has gone and it's recognized all over the world as such. And it all started right here in the American circumstance with guys like KRS-One, Common, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. This is where it all started, right here. It's lifestyle, it's identity, it's culture.
It's about culture, and this is why KRS-One is so incredible. What he stands for when we talk about the culture, and our culture, and particularly the root of it, right? Coming back to the past. When we look at where the energy really comes from to do this, it comes from someone who really does. And KRS-One is someone who creates because he wants to. He goes to be an MC because he wants to.
Right.
And the same thing exists the same thing exists in me and it exists in you and exists in Bill. We do it because we want to. It's like
Yeah.
internet, when it just and in doing so, you are living the life of hip hop. Right? And it's this for those graffiti artists out there who continue to the same thing for those DJs, the same things for those breakers, but who continue to spread the message, yeah, through their creativity. Again, to be a part of Quick Quotes is really an opportunity to celebrate the greatness of someone who had brought um who the lyrics is being put together. And we know that exists for KRS-One is one that has brought into the scene so many thoughtful moments, and again, inspired so many across the genre. Today, we wanted to make sure that we gave a big up and a shout out.
No
to
doubt.
KRS-One.
Well deserved. Yes.
And Booty Down Production.
Yeah. So there's this white artist that is doing battle rap. You know what, this guy that I'm talking about, Cavell? Tag, man. Now that, I mean, they always show him in my and now they don't want to show him. Now they don't want to show him. But he started off just going around in the streets, and then all of a sudden, man, he went into battle rap with some of the battle rappers, in America, and then he went to battle rapping in England. I definitely didn't like battle rap in England because it was difficult to understand what they were saying regarding battle rappers in England. They got a whole nother mind frame, in England regarding that. Yeah, but I think the point is only this, that like there are a lot of other artists from other cultures that are actually getting involved in hip hop. That's the point that I'm making. Because yeah, and it's because it's something that you got to do. And so even other artists from other cultures and other persuasions, they feel the same way. It's like it's something I got to do. I got to go ahead and express myself, tell you exactly how I'm thinking about this.
There is no doubt, man, that the ability to influence the culture from other spaces in the world is becoming more and more of a push for the evolution, again, back to the word evolution of hip hop culture. Culture started out again as something that was just for, and as many of the things that we created from our struggle as Black Americans or as African and Africanized people, we've gone and we've created these spaces that we share with the world. And once they share out with the the world grabs on and then begins to evolve it.
Yes.
And we're seeing that in every part of the culture, whether that is in DJ competition. With me, a number of DJs. One of the DJs that I follow, DJ Miles. DJ Miles DJs in different parts of the country. Currently, DJ
Hmm.
Nation, understand representative with the vest and all that. Mighty's doing on it, everything, it has that connection. But in doing this not in a Brooklyn club, but in a club in South America. We have, of course, another thing about it, actually be outperforming at this space or here and now cultural space out in Brooklyn on December 27th. I'll be out there to feature that scene. It's going to be a showcase, a group show graffiti artists are going to showcase their work for purchase, but there will also be DJs out there. Born is a Korean b-boy who has traveled the world, still travels the world, and judges and performs in multiple, in multiple countries.
Right.
You know, so the culture, even today, when we talk about our next, and art is not a thing, we're going to talk about a guy who has taken traditional graffiti from New York City culture, right, graffiti culture, and spread it across the world in different ways with his own think on it, and with which he seemed to put in his realistic drawing, his um, elevated art. So there's a lot going on, man, and I think that the culture is well represented. We're evolving into something that's going to be even more incredible, in the years to come.
Yeah, it's no doubt about it, man, that it is what it is. And even in the current culture that we're talking about, that's called America, American culture, that is doing everything that it can to kind of like survive the uh it's like American culture doesn't want to move into the future. American culture, they want to have so much control over it. And I mean, maybe that's not a bad thing. I mean, like you want to say, well, I don't want, my American culture to get out of control. I want my American culture to be what I want it to be, and that as a process, like, politics has come to the forefront of being, uh, mixing in with culture, and what's true and what's not true, and because there's a dominance as far as media is concerned, that things can be thrown at you that you might not necessarily disagree with, the control as far as what we see, as far as movies, television programs, and things like that. There's this squeeze that's just on American culture, and people have been put in a position where like we just have to make the decision that I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing like I'm just dealing with this. I'm just dealing with this.
Yeah, I think there's something I want to mention. Um, oftentimes in our conversations on this show, conversations on other shows, there's a need to bring in the cloud, the dark cloud that's in the face, right? But we know the cloud is there. We're all aware of the cloud from the beginning. From the moment you recognize it, you can't ignore it, right? That's the whole thing about opening the Pandora's box.
Yeah.
Once you know there's a cloud over something, we know that it's there. Okay, cool. The whole point a lot of the times on this show is to not there is a cloud, but also you protect yourself from the rain and the downpour. And remember that even though there will be rain and downpours, the sun will shine again. And it always does.
Good point.
And a lot of these things we talk about, there is beauty, right? There's joy. There is a see a basketball player do well. Around seeing someone do something extraordinary that we aspire to. It gives you hope, gives you inspiration. And this, I think, in our culture, it has and love to people, and it brings entertainment and enjoyment and inspiration to individuals. remember that. We have to find joy in life. Once again, to walk around and only recognize the clouds that are dark is a place we want to inspire people to,
Yes.
to look to,
Yeah.
to what's ahead
Hmm.
and to stay focused on that.
Yeah.
Because there is the opportunity every day to get up and do that. So we want to aspire to be greater. And as we'll talk about in the next segment as well, how trauma continues to affect folks and be a part of the narrative continuously in the spaces that we live in. But there is hope, and that hope is continuing to come from the fact that, as we have identified things really great. And again, in hip hop, one of the things about KRS-One, man, and that's something that we miss in the culture sometimes. That period of time, really conscious rappers who were talking about what's happening in the community, like MC Light, Big Daddy King, being Public Enemy, you had righteous teachers. There was so many, even Rakim, talking about, to some extent, conscious thinking, elevated thought. This is something that is happening again as we evolve. The things that, over the last maybe 10 years, that hip hop has been challenging, there's been a resurgence of people really looking at what is great in this culture because it is something from the 50s, continuing to grow and expedient.
Yeah, and I like the analogy that you made as far as the clouds are concerned and that the sun will shine. That was a beautiful analogy because that's what happens with uh participating in social media because that's where the control comes from. The control comes from see the human being can't control Allah's creation. He can't control he can't make this it takes 24 hours for the earth to revolve one time, and the human being can't make it do 23 or can't make it go it's going to be 26 hours that is going to evolve. No, it's 24 hours. Why? Because the one who controls it makes it happen like that, and then a damn thing you can do to change it. Yeah, right now we're in the fall season, and we're going into winter, and you can't speed it up. You can't speed it up, even though you may want to. Okay, you can't speed it up. Your birthday comes once a year. It takes 365 days for it to come in. And I don't care if you want to celebrate your birthday every week. The day that you were born is going to come once a year. You can't spend it up. So and it's because of the one that controls that creation, and that's the one that we have to stay that's the one that we have to stay connected to, and be careful about being connected to the world of social media where those who control it gives us clouds, and we got to wait for the sun.
You also have to remember that the law does control of all things. So social media exists because Allah says it is so. Again, if we believe the same thing about everything, then we must attach all things to that person, to that place. So everything that exists because Allah made it.
Well, wait a minute. Well, Allah allowed the technology. Okay, Allah allowed the human being to utilize the technology, and see, and that's always the thing. So now, what are you going to do with the technology that's going to be used? You're going to go ahead and create clouds, or you're going to create sunshine. And in many times,
again, is the thing about the human being's individual journey.
right?
The human being will make those decisions, but that is what Allah ordains it to be.
Well, wait a minute, but we got to be clear that and that see, because we don't want to say, well, like the reason why there's clouds in social media is because Allah allowed the clouds in social media. No, the human being brought the clouds to social media. Allah allowed the human being the opportunity to utilize the technology, and then the human being utilize the technology to be dominant as far as what he was going to present on social media.
But the law has a tornado that touches down in the middle of a town.
Yes,
The human being has to deal with what the law puts in his face.
right. But Allah did that, not the human being.
But that's what I'm saying. The same thing is, again, nothing exists unless a law deems it to be. So, and when we talk about social media, same thing exists.
No,
You have the opportunity.
it's a difference, yeah.
To deal with something that I put down, you put in your space in order for you to be able to create clouds or create sunshine. But it is up to you how you want to deal with it.
Right. But
I
now,
give it to you, but now what do you do with it? And that's going to be up to you.
yeah, well, see, but see, a tornado is something that Allah allows to happen. Allah allows that to happen.
Social media couldn't exist unless a law allows the human being to think of it, but it could exist.
Well, that's not true. I don't want to.
Not like
This is what I want to say. I don't want to say it like that there because I have high regard for you and the way that you're thinking about it. I don't want to say it like that, like that's not true. I don't want to use that language. But the way that I would look at it as like this, that yeah, Allah allowed the human being to discover the technology. The human being is the one who created social media. Allah didn't create social media. The human being created social media and then utilized it to make clouds. That's what I'm saying.
so the brain in which Allah blessed that individual with.
Well, wait a minute. But the thought came from the brain, but then the brain decided to make clouds instead of make sunshine.
But is that because of the social media, or is it because of individuals make the decision to utilize the technology in the wrong way, as you already stated?
Yeah,
Because it seems like the people have an individual choice to make, right? As we all do every time we get up in the morning.
yes,
And our neighbor who was making all the noise next door,
right. Mhm.
we make a decision. I'm not doing that. That's not really right for me.
Right.
We make the same decision when we go on social media and
Yeah.
we decide that we want to say something, that may not be within our moral state.
Right.
Something that someone made a decision to do. It didn't have anything to do with the social media technology.
Well, yeah. Well, you're right that each individual has the opportunity to either participate in man's world or not participate in man's world. The individual does have the opportunity to participate in social media or not participate in social media. But it's not to say that, that the clouds that you described, and and especially like in politics and stuff like that, there, that even though, it's cloudy, that we know that eventually, the sun will shine again, as far as the clouds, the cloudy going away and the sunshine, the right-mindedness will come back into the social media circumstance. That's how I was looking at it. That's what I got from you when you were talking about the clouds and the sun coming back. That's what I got. But I agree that each individual has the power to, go ahead and participate or not participate.
That's without a shadow of a doubt. And again, we continue to have great conversations right here on Let's Talk Real Quick, which is a part of the Quick Hitters digital experience on the community radio, right? Cultural insight, Muslim Association with American Muslim 360. The shows are happening every single week. You need to make sure you check it out every single day, Sunday to Friday. It's not a game. It's a new day, community. Make sure you pay attention to that. Let's move on. Great conversation, Pop. As always, man. We're gonna
Yes.
talk about man. Him is a graffiti artist who's a Turkish recently, about a year ago, right here in Florida, as he was doing a piece one day in Central Harlem around 152nd Street. I had a place called Graffiti All Star. Graffiti All Stars, man. No, All City Graffiti Store. All City Graffiti. So listen, incredible this man, the Turkey. He was also a skateboarder, an extreme skateboarder, man, was traveling around the world doing skateboard exhibitions. But as he was doing these skateboard exhibitions, he would also put these particular spaces. So he's got these incredible pieces that have like a realistic edge to them in terms of him being a classically trained artist.
I'm trying to find him, Cavell. Is his name Totem?
Truly incredible.
How do you say his name?
OTOM.
Oh, OTOM. Okay. Adam, yeah, Instagram photos. Yeah, I got him. Go ahead.
Man, just like I said, really incredible art that, as you can see, reflects graffiti, but also has realism to it as well. And he's very, when I say detailed in the way in which he brings his art to life, it's almost super realistic. But again, Turkey, Polish, and a Polish descent. You're checking out some of the stuff that he picked.
Three-dimensional. His ability to make it look three-dimensional on a two-dimensional frame, because a two-dimensional frame is a piece of paper that you have length and width. But for him to be length, width, and depth, because that's what makes it three-dimensional, to be able to put depth to it. So by the shading and the colors that he uses in order to make the faces look very real is really, I mean, any artist that is able to do that, man, is powerful.
I think just really incredible. Something that struck me about it once again was the speed in which he was able to do it. Um, I would say that the one that he did up at the speech that I was in with him, it was probably about half an hour. And it was
Really?
It was, and I'm going to tell you this. He had to do it. He had to push everything out because it's so usable work that they have. I think it's like an eight this setup, right? That they have, and you can move them, they move them around. So it was already a piece. Fitted it out with white spray paint first, and creating the skull, making sure the skull. You know what I mean? Just as you said, from two-dimensional to three-dimensional, and with in terms of its detail. We're talking an 8 by 8, 8 feet by 8 feet that he was able to put this on, and again, on the 35 minutes. One day I'll show it to you. I did take pictures of it.
Yo, man, this guy's got, yeah, yeah. This guy's got a lot of images too, all over the world. All over the world.
There's one that that specifically sticks out in my head because friend of his is friend of his that's in the skateboard world. I don't know if it was from a disease, it might have been from cancer. Um, he died in the accident, but I think it was from cancer. I can't be sure. Don't quote me on it. But what happened was his family, the guy's family, they had this skate park in their property. He went to skate with a bunch bunch of other guys in celebration of this individual's life. And painted entire mural to this guy on their, private skateboard. And when I tell you, it's like the amount of it, the space of it, the width of it, just the breadth of it was just amazing. And again, like, to your point, this started out in the Bronx, and this guy is from, Turkey, from of Polish descent, and he's doing stuff like this, man. It only evolves, once again into, spaces, man, that are only going to continue to, share it with the rest of the world.
Yeah, you see, and alhamdulillah, man, that Allah blesses people to find their niche. This guy has been able, Allah has blessed this guy to be able to find his niche. And just like we talking about Kevin Durant, Allah blessed him to find his niche. Where, he said, listen, man, like, yo, I'll always play basketball. He said, and I don't do it, for the money. I do it because it's fun. This is, I like it. That's why I do it, because it's something that I like. And it's obvious that to have this kind of passion, to do this kind of art, man, I mean, it's got to be a passion here for that, to be able to have developed to this degree where this, I mean, again, you all should go to OTOM graffiti artists and just look at this guy's work, man. This guy's work is phenomenal. And I mean, phenomenal, and it's all over the place. Yeah, go ahead, Cavell, because we got like,
Listen, again, I want to be out in Brooklyn, like here and now cultural space, um, for the group showcase, the Papyrus group showcase on December 27th, which, again, is presented by Born. Again, we're going to talk about him in the next segment. Just really quickly, because we got to everything moving on. Man,
no doubt, yeah.
we do it. We do it. We do it.
Yeah, I wanted to share something with you. Speaking of art, William, I just sent you. I don't know if you're able to look at it, but a gentleman, a young man here. I apologize for the echo. A young man here who does art by cakes, baking cakes.
Oh, wow.
So if you can see it, William,
I'm
he
looking,
made a Buccaneer. He showed us how he did it.
yeah, I don't have it on here. Which you sent it to my other phone? Yo, wait a minute.
With cake creation,
He's
Did
done
you?
it with Snoop Dogg. He's done it with the Las Vegas owner of the Las Vegas casino. He's done it with top-notch people.
Did-
Even what's the young lady's name that was the hip hop, one of the hip hop artists. With all the top names, he's done cakes for them by their request.
Yo, I saw one. I
Right.
saw one of an artist a cake artist. What she did is she made a cake of her cat, and then she took a knife and sliced the cat, and again, because it looked like she was actually slicing the cat, but it was really cake. You know?
listen, let me tell you, there is a show that comes on Netflix. Every now and then I watch it. It's kind of silly. Called, Is It Cake? It is Cake. It is a competition where folks get these inanimate objects. They're supposed to recreate them in cake form, and judges come out and try to see if they can tell which one is cake.
Oh wow.
And
Oh wow.
some of these artists, when they're taking 8 hours, 8 hours, 2 times 12, to create these masterpieces. Again, talking about just making some cake, man. Some people just make a quick, like Duncan Hines, right?
Yeah.
Everybody out here making Jordan things.
Cakes. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a cake. I saw somebody make a clock that looked like a cake. They made a statue that looked like a cake. they made a pair of shoes, a velvet pair of shoes looked like that was fake. I mean, like you said, it looked like a cake. It just
Yeah.
talent is
Talent, artistic, yeah.
People are blessed.
Yeah.
People are blessed with what you said. You know, when you are able to tap into your gift,
Yes.
when you're able to tap into your gift, that's what you live for. You know, once you find your purpose, then you can move. And all the clouds don't matter. All the clouds don't even matter.
True.
Because you already have a purpose, and so you undyingly,
Yes.
unfazed,
Right.
undistracted
Yes.
towards the goal that has been presented by the gift that you have and the purpose that you have been put on the planet.
Well
And
done.
nothing else will matter.
Well
Nothing
said.
else will stop you. And that's something that we continue to push for. You know what we doing?
Oh man, yo, that was it right there, man. That was it, man. That was it.
We got 4 minutes. We got 4 minutes, and I don't want to forget this, right? I don't want to forget to talk about Braun real quick. Right? I just want to mention like his brother, man, is a b-boy artist, man, from Korea, right? You know, is known for his pop rocking uh, b-boy, which he has mixed in with this interesting like rhythmic footwork. So sometimes when I first met him, um, you know, when I think of breakdancing, I think of people on the floor. Right? So I think of when you go into a breakdancing piece, and of course we're talking about in our union segment right now, we're talking about breakdancing and we're talking about top rocking in particular. I've always thought of, you know, floor work, you know, getting down, movement, you know, backspin, windmills, you know, crab walking, all of that stuff is breakdancing. I didn't always think of what you're doing when you're standing on your feet, which is called top rocket, which is rhythmic upright footwork, which introduces the b-boy or b-girl before they go to the floor work. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And born is a master. So I've been to a couple of big dancing pieces with him, and I'm watching him, and I'm waiting for him to go to the floor. I'm like, why is he still standing?
Right.
Like, you ain't breakdancing unless you want to blow. But now, as I said, I've spent more time watching different events in breakdancing contests. Top ranking is, you know, one of those things that you get graded on. How official your entry into your floor work is. So again, Born is one of those masters of top rocking, you know, over the last 25 years, who's influenced countless of breakers, how it is that they actually get themselves prepared to go to their floor work and the trickery and handwork and the footwork that goes along with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And they have names for each part of it too. It's not just, like something that you do. They have names for it, and in order to say that you are top rocking to that degree, you have to perform each one of those kinds of segments and to be graded on them. Is that correct?
And that's what you have to do. I mean, it is your introduction, right? Once again, it's the introduction to your floor work. So it's kind of like the antagonizing point, the beginning point of the battle, in which you're looking at your competitor and you're saying to your competitor, and I show you how I'm about to become disrespectful. So I'm getting ready to show you my fluidity. And that can be very too. It's not just that it's something fluid and easy that stays on the floor. I also watched another graffiti, another great dancing, graffiti, who is someone who's added gymnastics into his kid, which makes it extremely unique as you start to see, get into more of the floor in some of these dance competitions. And as a matter of fact, he just won a couple of dance competitions over the last month. Great dancing competitions, just amazing. If you get a chance to check them out, B-Boy Gravity on YouTube.
B-Boy Gravity. Okay. Okay.
B-Boy Gravity on YouTube. We about to dip out of here, but that was great as always. You know how we do when it comes to tonight over here on Let's Talk Real Quick. We're going to continue in the digital space. This is the Quick Hitters environment, the Quick Hitters digital experience right here on the Community Radio. So, real quick, man, before we jump into the conversation, the experience, and the
Oh man, you know what? Well, I'll tell you what we have to do right now, because I kind of, got past it, and that is, the call of the Adhan. We got to go ahead and play that. That lets you know that the prayer is in at this time. And here we go with the Adhan for the Dhuhr prayer. Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن رسول أشهد أن رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, so let us continue. Go ahead, Cavell. So we're in the next hour, which is the conversation, the experience, the movement. And today we want to talk about the theme of collective health hustle, the collective hustle building for generations. And that's an interesting point, because I just want to mention that a great man that was part of my life has passed, and that is Elbert Shamsuddin. Elbert Shamsuddin was a very important person that was my the peer under the when I came into the Nation of Islam. I worked for him to a great degree, and I hustled, under him. I mean, because at that time life was definitely a hustle, and he allowed me to hustle, with him. I mean, he was hustling, trying to make things happen for him and his family and the community, and I was trying to hustle, trying to do things for the community and for my family too at the same time. Uh, well, over a period of time, Elbert Shamsuddin did a lot of great work. He was very important as far as in the Nation of Islam, bringing Muhammad's imported fish into the New York City area. Him and his brother Ishmael Shamsuddin. Ishmael Shamsuddin was the secretary under Minister Louis Farrakhan. He Elbert Shamsuddin was the manager of the warehouse. We bought the fish, sardines, bean pies. There was this thing where they had the bean pies in AMP in the New York City area. You could go there and buy bean pies. Um, so he was a very important figure. Then he winded up establishing himself and his son with a studio up in the Yonkers area. And when he established that studio for his son in the Yonkers area, they went in there and they you know was able to develop DMX. They was able to develop the Locks, and the son is Joaquin Dean. They had the Rough Riders, and these are very well-known people that are in the hip hop movement today. And Elbert Shamsuddin had a lot to do with that, just on the mere fact that he established that for his sons, and his sons was able to take that further. He was also important as far as being a helper to Imam Ali Rashid and Master Malcolm Shabazz and Ezekiel Muid Basha, who is the current Imam at Malcolm Shabazz Masjid. They did very many great things for the Muslims in the New York area, and especially in politics and economic growth and development. They did a lot with that. Also, they were important as he was important as far as helping Imam Ezekiel Basha and others to establish Inkster, the convention in Inkster, Detroit. And so, he did a lot. He was able to accomplish a lot. And he will always be a pillar in my life because, he is one of the men that helped to make me who I am today. And I pray that Allah will forgive him his sins and favor him with a big space in paradise. Ameen. Gavel?
You introduced you to the Juma in Queens.
No. Elbert was at Masjid Malcolm Shabazz in Manhattan. Yeah, he didn't go to Queens. Yeah, he went to Manhattan. It's Malcolm Shabazz. Yeah, Cavell. So I think the conversation, is, really important because that's what it reminded me. I'm building for generations. And Elbert Shamsuddin was definitely one who helped to build for generations, and like I said, it was a collective hustle. I saw him hustle, man. I learned to drive working at the warehouse because I would drive the fish truck, around. I would drive the fish truck and that's how I learned to drive. I didn't have a license, but I was driving the fish truck. And that was because, again, Elby Shamsuddin, had me at the warehouse where we were collectively hustling. I was selling sandwiches, man, and I was selling fish. We were hustling. Elby Shamsuddin was hustling, trying to make it happen. And eventually Allah blessed him, to make the great contributions that he made, building for generations. Cavell?
I'll tell you something interesting about it. I was talking literally about Elvin Johnson. Well, he passed away yesterday, right?
Yeah.
The day before. I had a conversation in our whole conversation about you and him and our experiences and DMY and the whole thing. Incredible. And the whole conversation about it.
Right.
And the very next day, I'm sitting at work and I see the post come up because one of my homies one of my young homies who grew up underneath the young that kid has a business called Passing Live where he's been, video recording and he's been in the industry with all of them for years, for Rough Riders, DIY, and he was in the industry many years. But he posted a video of him and Bashar Sadiq inside of the car yesterday, and it had the date of his passing. So it was really interesting. I feel like it was basically of wearing the right space and right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Right? The contributions that he made to the community involved his family, multiple families, and continues to be a foundation of how it is the generations that have come after his son, your son, and many of the founders and original, converts to Islam here in our city and around the country had their families involved in not only their Islam and their commitment to religion, but their commitment to
In the community, yeah, in the community, yeah, 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 man,
You understand what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, that they understand the commitment to the principles, but they also are Americans, and they look to succeed as the American dream.
yeah, and stay.
Jobs. Well, educated. People raising families, they drive, they live trips. They're living, because living in an example of a great life in America based on the past of those who had to, go through some of the challenges to put them in a position to take it.
Yeah, and the other part that's important with that is that they stay involved in the community. It's not like like they give up on the community. They stay involved as far as the community is concerned. Elba staying involved. D and Y, they stay involved as far as the community is concerned. I'm involved as far as the community is concerned. I didn't give up. I wasn't chased out. Like I didn't give up on the community. He never gave up on the community, and that's a great accomplishment because there are many Muslims who have come through our community and just left and stopped contributing to the community.
Well, I think that's a thing that we've seen across the community, regardless of whether it's a religious denomination or economic space. There is the idea placed in as very young that the goal is to make it out of the neighborhood. It's not to better the neighborhood. So in that, what you find is you find many folks who have the opportunity to advance themselves out of the neighborhood. And this here is again what you're talking about with Brother Shamsuddin and of course, many of the founders, there has been a consistent effort to grow within the community. And so that has garnered a generation of young people who have focused objectives, and those focused objectives have to have been include extending what it is that was built in the past.
Yeah,
And so again, people are reclaiming their space, people are grabbing their value, they're building networks again, and we continue to talk about that in the way in which we're doing what we're doing with the show, and as we're going to expand in the new year.
sure.
Really reaching out to more masjids, reaching out to more networks, and of course, not only the city, but across the nation, and saying, hey, let's pull this thing together and reclaim the power that is power that was built out in this journey, and really be those strings so that we can be even more prosperous in the near future.
Yeah, and I think that like this the conversation experience, the movement, this generation of Black Americans is rewriting the playbook from group economics to generational strategy. I've seen these young entrepreneurs, creators, educators, and people involved in politics, especially when we was down at the Congressional Black Caucus down there in Washington, D.C., man. I mean, it was like there was 10,000 people that are down there that were, of African American persuasion that was representing big time. I'm talking about representing. You see, a lot of times we don't see it. We don't see it a lot of times, but man, this was an opportunity but you should know that it is what it is and that it is coming together. And when we're talking about the generation of Black Americans that's rewriting the playbook, it's happening. For real, for real.
I'm telling you, I'm excited about the future, and that's where, again, let me use a personal experience. I mean, I hope you don't mind me sharing.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But our family listeners, my father and my mother. I just talk about my father and my mother. My father comes from a family, man, where it was addiction. It was addiction and drugs. It was addiction and alcoholism. You know what I mean? There wasn't a certainty to how life was going to continue for a number of people. Comes from a generation before her that saw this world, this country as opportunity. and came here and branded by the truth, man, coming in from Panama and having the opportunity to, work in cancer research, one of my uncles was a chemist, the other one was a lawyer, the other one was a business owner. You know, we had these great things on my mother's side, and then my mother and father come together and they had me. Um, then we have a group of us in this environment who are growing up in what is considered the ghetto. We have gone from to a group of individuals who have children who have gotten master's degrees, multiple master's degrees.
Yeah.
You've got children who are incredible parents who are, giving back to their communities, whether that's working in the government, working in the police department, working in education, working inside of communities to better the life of kids in juvenile justice. We're doing so much as a family, and now we got somebody who just yell.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
And yeah.
And so no one can tell me anymore. I can't listen to nobody say, right? Oh man, the neighborhood is what takes you down. You listen to the wrong music. You better not heard it. Can't listen to that no more.
Right.
Because if you commit to your family, if you commit to education, if you commit just to your family, man, do your part. You can change your community. And there is no excuse. None. None. So I don't tap into any of those beliefs anymore. This generation, I don't think they tap into that at all anymore.
I agree. I agree. I agree.
A black woman run for president.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that they think like we think. If we grew up, I don't even know if they can.
Yeah.
We not connected to that.
Right. And it's it and Vel, it's like you're saying, it ain't luck. It ain't luck, man. It's knowledge, discipline, and clarity.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Come on.
Black excellence today is sponsored by education, intention, community support, not hype. When you level up with vision, respect follows, no doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we're doing here.
That's right.
Something that is, this is the ball rolling down the mountain. Put only rolling down the mountain, speaking of speed. Speaking of speed, that's all that this is.
Right. I mean,
No matter how much people try to make it as though it's not, and there's all this downshining stuff, and people should be miserable. Because they don't want you to see it.
well,
They was just saying about the tall people in the neighborhood that sometimes you don't see because you ain't in that circle. All you got to do is go get in the circle and you lay on the phone, go down the hill with everybody else.
well, and I mean, hell, man, all the time it took for us to roll the ball up the hill. I mean, hell, shouldn't it come to a point where we get a chance for the ball to roll down the hill after all those years of pushing the ball up the hill? Damn. See, and I think that a lot of people, you know, Sister Martha, you know what I'm saying? Shoot, man.
You know how I identify that? I identified that as you were saying, hustling. Martha Nailah here.
Yeah.
Hustling in a different territory, but the same process. Picking beans, planting, putting seeds into the ground, and just knowing it's going to come up. Same thing, going to school and saying, get an education, not knowing where it's going to end up, but go through the process, not giving up.
Right.
Not giving up.
Right. And it hasn't happened. Right. Right. It hasn't.
And now these little entitled suckers, excuse me, sometimes these little entitled suckers that walk around here like, excuse me, what did you say? She? Oh, yeah, she talking about big brother. Big brother. out here.
Yeah.
They call me, and when they start calling me Mister, so did I much say I oftentimes remember, right, that that, that energy that they have, I'm applauding it. I'm not always killing it. I'm applauding it because I remember having that energy. I remember having that energy. I remember walking around like that, feeling empowered, feeling like nothing can stop me, like the world is at my control. Sometimes I feel like that.
Me too, man. What are you talking about? I feel like that too. What?
Let me not put it on them. But what is different, and I think you know what I mean. When I say it's when you see it in them. You know what I mean? It's different when you see it in them because it's almost like there's no wall. There's no, like they haven't hit the wall so many times.
Mm.
So because of that, it's like enthusiasm, like, yo, I'm going to get it.
And I know I could get it too.
You don't need to, and I see the walls. I'm going to fall down. I know you said not to do it, but I'm about to do it, actually. And I'm just like in awe of it, like,
And I know I can handle what's on the other side of the wall. I'm ready. They're handled. You know what I'm saying?
and I'm also like, is it that we are away from the civil rights movement, away from those level of sacrifices, um, felt that strongly as a group. Is that the reason why they have confidence and audacity and risk-taking style today? Because the work that was done so well. We are now just seeing the fruits of that labor to the highest degree at the highest degree it can be at this moment.
Yeah, I want to say this to you, man. This here is I have a granddaughter. Her name is Ashley Grand, and she's powerful. And what she does is she's starting to write. And she doesn't write in hip hop. I mean, she writes full verse. And I just like to say, what she says here, that I'll tell you, our situation is different. See, you were not a person, not you, and not so much me. We were three-fifths of a person, cargo, back when there was no disguise, not our demise. It was sharpening. Pierced bodies forced across waves, sink or swim. The ocean became a grave. Kingdom weakening was strategic. How they did it. They never just take you, it's conditioning. Manipulation. But so is God's hand working the good out for those who love him. The others never had a chance. Now that's just some of what she was saying, man. But the point I'm making is just that basically, man, this is where our generations are. This is my granddaughter. This is not my daughter. This is my granddaughter. This here is two generations from me. That this is the way that they're thinking, and what they came to understand. The ball is rolling down the hill. Period.
The ball is rolling down the hill, and there again is where the idea that a law knows all and knows has to continuously be echoed in our minds.
I mean,
Right?
that's
I
right.
know I think about it every single day when I'm trying to make a decision about how I'm dealing with things. Right? Whether I'm at work, whether I'm dealing with someone of the younger generation, whether I'm dealing with someone in my generation or older, trying to see where it is that I can fit in on the team. Because again, we talk about basketball, right? In basketball, the guarantee someone of they were talking about this recently was if a person gets on the court and they're able to affect winning without scoring a bucket.
Yeah.
When he talked about, you can take me anywhere and I'm gonna always be able to play basketball. It's because he will always step in and play his
Right.
and so what is my role sometimes when I'm dealing with a young person and I'm on the train and that person comes through with For example, I've been on the train on Thursday with my coworker. We get on the train, we sit down. There's two guys. One is on one side of the other on the other. They sit right across from each other, right? And they're talking. I sit down. I'm 1 feet away from one brother. He's sitting 1 feet away from me. We have a conversation. She gets out two steps after. Now I'm sitting in that same seat and listening to my phone. As I'm listening to my music, I'm closing my eyes. I feel something. You know how you feel like somebody near you?
Right.
So like I feel like something was near me. So I open my eyes and the brother hands are like raising me in my face. And I'm like, you know, again, I'm a New York dude. I come from a certain grit. I'm grown up a certain way. The was feeling.
Right.
The first thing that came to my
Exactly.
mind.
Exactly.
And then I realized that there was another seat, 1 feet away. All I had to do was slide. You know what? I'm sliding on 1 feet.
Right.
It was an unnecessary interaction. Just because the bro is excitable and enjoying his vibe and in his face, he ain't consider me. That's okay. I can consider him.
Right. Yeah.
I don't have to just make it
Yeah.
about him being considerate.
Yeah.
You consider him.
Yeah.
Okay, let me sip on
And let him enjoy his flow. And let him enjoy his flow. Yeah. Yeah.
continue to enjoy my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's respecting each other's energy. That's coming from a younger and older space. Again, that building the bridge between generations. It's not always like my position is right, and I can school you and advise you on how you. No,
Right.
I'm gonna let you do you.
Exactly.
You how to do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And great, period.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's how I find it today, man. That's how I find it in today's American culture. I don't know about in Florida or in other parts of but that's how I find it today in New York culture, man. Like everybody's doing their thing and everybody's respectful of the way that you're doing your thing. Even the guy that's homeless, he on the street and he chilling and he got a little can, and he's sitting there, waiting, man, man, and people walk by, man, like, and just walk by him. But there's a lot of people, man, that go ahead and drop something in the can. They understand what his situation is, man. There are a lot of people, man, that like is talking like they bugging out. They bugging out. And we just walk right past them in New York, man. Because these people know that, even the bugged out people, man, that's out there, man, the way they got it, man, it's like, yo, you got to keep on moving. You don't want to go ahead, man, and mess with these people, man. You don't want to do that, because you're gonna cause something for you. So I find the culture to be more acceptable. We're more acceptable to each other, and I'm talking about all races, man. I'm not just man. There's people out there, man. There's white folks that's out there with cans and signs asking for help, man. You hear what I'm saying? It ain't just us, but I'm saying it ain't just us, but I'm saying that it is us because they are included in us. Walaikum assalam, Sister Quran.
Yes, sir. That's who I am. What I wanted to say is that it's time for us to write our history, and ain't no one person could do it. We have untold stories also. Our children could know who they are. They don't even know.
Yeah.
And they erase them. They don't show it no more, even on television, nowhere. So it's time for our children. When your history give you a head start. We will ask your child, who's the only Elijah Muhammad? And just ask your child, your grandchild. Ask your grandchild, who's the only Elijah Muhammad? That's what I'm talking about. It's time for us to write our history. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, we're getting there. We're going to do it. We're doing it. We're going to do it. And even we're going to do it, and people are going to recognize, because see, people don't want to get caught out there, because right now they're caught out there Right now, the people are caught out there, with the false history. You talk about, I'll give you a basic one, about, all of the figures in the Bible being white. Man, everybody know that's not that's a false concept. They know it's a false concept about Jesus being white.
And then of course they don't.
Yeah, yeah.
You're one of those old. I had one. But
Me
somebody
too.
Anyway, you get one of them old Bible, 1942. I had one that in the Bible, it'll say what Jesus was saying. Prophet Esau was saying that someone is coming, and he was talking about Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Yeah.
After him.
And I'll tell you, I got a Bible from 1844. It was my family Bible, man, from 1844, and all the images in there was white. When Imam W.D. Muhammad told us about, like the committee to remove all images from divine, and I went back to my Bible and saw that, I was so pissed off because, man, our people had been duped. But that can't happen today. That can't happen today.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you a little quick story real fast. Again, I hope you know.
No,
Give away about
yeah,
this. I always tell people this
yeah,
story.
yeah.
At 8 years old, I'm walking in my third grade class, and my third grade teacher, her name was Miss Rose.
And she
Never forget, I went to Catholic
school,
St. Anne's Elementary School,
right?
the east side of Harlem, 100th Street, between First and Second Avenue. And I'm sitting in class, man, third grader, man. We doing religion class, and she was talking about Jesus. I raised my hand and I say, hello, and she's like, Dad, and I'm like, so I was talking to my father, and he said that Jesus came from the white people came from the Caucasus Mountains, and then Jesus was going up to the Caucasus Mountains to help them because they were lepers, and that's how they lost their color. We actually, those were all black people, and that Jesus was up there. Jesus is black, and he was up there helping the lepers who had lost their skin color from leprosy. And you imagine the look on this white woman's face. It's a brilliant white woman in the Catholic school. Because I was talking in front of this classroom with like 25 students. It was like she could have died in there. So I just want you to know. Right, that, because I have told these stories to my children. And I think there are many of us who grew up, Muslim the parents who have given us an awareness. See all these things where we come.
And where we going?
And I think that is only empowered those young people to know where they are going, and they are going there with just as much strength and courage as if anything. We I assume that your generation had, our generation inherited, and I think they have inherited, but they have more too. I think they're in their understanding of being American. And what they powers they have. And how they're able to use those things to tell themselves what to do. I think their ability to do that is going to be transitional. Again, as this
Transitional, good point. Yeah.
Is going to evolve.
Right. Grow us. Yes. And that's the impact that we're going to have. That's the impact that we as the people have had on American society, and especially on the European American, on the dominant culture, because the dominant culture may be dominant as far as trying to make America great again, but you ain't going to do that without us. You ain't gonna do that. You want to make America great. You ain't gonna do that without us. You want to make some changes, as far as development, as far as America great again. Okay, yeah, okay. I'm with you 100%. But you ain't gonna do that without our influence. It's not gonna happen.
Without our influence.
It's not gonna happen. And it's because your children are going to agree with us, the way that we go about it. There's so many people that are involved. You talk about the hip hop generation, man. Your hip hop generation in the dominant culture is thick. Is thick. is thick, man, you know, and dominant. It's thick and it's dominant. It's thick and it's dominant.
What have to do with the fact of integration. Because
Right.
a lot of brothers, man, men, black women, married into other races.
Right.
Period.
Yo,
Those people have converted. Those people have been following the principles of Islam. Those people are part of the culture to a great degree. And they know the pillars. And they are, again, a growing population in this country. Now, those groups of people who have been, you know, they call the mixed race, the mulatto race, that group that has black and white, black and Hispanic, black and Indian, black and, but it's having one of those black and something else with it, right? Has really become of individuals differently. They're raised on hip hop, but also have this, the system
yo, man,
is right, and they have the resources, knowing when a prior generation was able to do.
yo, man, it's because this generation has the swag, so to say. It's the swag. It's the hip hop swag that it has. It don't have that "Make America Great Again" old fashioned, you know, kind of thing going on. It has the current swag. Yo, man, if you're into it to that degree, man, you have to know about hip hop music with the European generation in America. And you have so many people that so many European Americans that's becoming Muslim. They becoming Muslim. They becoming Muslim because, man, because they find that it's a good way of life. You know, not to drink, not to smoke, man, you know, to go ahead, man, and give praise and glorification to the creator of the heavens and the earth, and to be able to do all those things that the positive things that Islam brings. They know Muslims. Yeah, if how the heck you going? I heard this person talking against Muslims about Islam in America. Shit, it's obvious she don't have no Muslim friends. She don't have no connection with Muslims at all. You could tell.
Again, you talk about these circles. You know, back to what we were saying about the basketball players, right? You don't see 6'7" or 6'8" guys. That's just because you don't work in a basketball gym, right? If you work in a gym as a coach, you would see tall players all the time, right? Because that's the circle you're running in. I think the same thing is this when we talk about cultural diversity and the opportunity for change to happen in society today, especially when you talk about the extreme versions of people's identity in American culture. This American great again thing is really an attempt by people who want to return to a past to inject that into the narrative of today's society. But there is also an extremism where people want to theorize ideas that, you know, may be a little bit of a stretch for individuals, you know, in today's society, even though we may agree with some of the principles of continuing to explore freedom and independence. There, I think, is a large amount of, there are a large group of folks who kind of see the middle ground and how things can be balanced out here in society. And a lot of those individuals who are educated to a great degree and have had the opportunity to co-mingle and they're not just in one bubble. They're not just in their own circle where they can only see this particular group of individuals, this particular bubble. They're in spaces where they're getting a total view of the way in which the is going, and thinking of the solutions. They are thinking of the ways in which they can be able to what it is. We're all very proud of them. I wanted to highlight that today, just because of once again the continued narrative to try to say is start pulling it together. Let's start doing things to create solutions. That's not true. There are being people who are working to destroy. There are people who are working to build. And I tell myself, almost as well as you and our listeners, are trying to build.
Yeah, and I'm not, and I want to make it clear. It's not like there's some of the things that this administration is doing that's good, that have come into the culture that I agree it should be changed, or it shouldn't be. There's some of the things that, so it's not all 100% bad as far as the things that the administration is doing. I will say that this whole thing about the whole idea about make America great again has to do with that the culture was going so far to the left, was going extreme left to a degree that people was like, what are you doing? You letting all these people come into the country for free? What? You letting all these negative things come into our children's, and you letting this gender thing come in? You letting all these negative things? Oh,
You
hell
letting
no.
boys, you letting boys who grow their hair out and say that they're a girl, against my girl,
Yeah, yeah,
my genetically born girl.
right,
And you think that that's fair. That's not fair.
right.
And you know it's not.
Right. And so, like, well, I had to come up with I had to come up with Make America Great Again. I had to come up with that, man, because y'all were taking this thing to it. Now they've taken some stuff to the extreme. They didn't went in there, man, and started clocking dough and all the rest of that. The clouds that's in the politics, man. But hey, the sun will shine. The sun will shine again. The sun will shine again, man. Sun will shine again.
Um,
Sister Martha wants to say, who's that? Kanan, go ahead.
yeah, I want to ask a question. Hip hop and rap is the same thing?
Yeah.
Hip hop and rapping.
Rapping is one of the components of hip hop. Hip hop has basic components. So one is DJing, so the two turntables where the DJ mixes the music. Then two is the rapping. That's where the guy grabs the mic and does the dance DJ. The third one is b-boy and breakdancing, where that's the physical manifestation of hip hop is the breakdancing. And then there's graffiti, where it is the artistic, the visual piece that you see in the art that they put on walls. And then the last is knowledge. We talk about the components and how it is that we learn to respect the culture as a totality. So hip hop has five components, and rapping is one of those components.
And one of
Okay,
the
the reason why I asked, because I was watching historical, television, and they said that Malcolm X started that.
well, I
And
could
they just
understand that. Well, the reason why they say that, sister, is because rap is something that you do if you express, with the tongue. That's what rap is. And Malcolm was one who had a flexible tongue, and he was able to, really kick it. He was able to rap. He was able to do it on that level. But hip hop is something that you live.
You into somebody. Why you I was over there in the
Right. Yeah.
that's the smoothness of the tongue, right?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, and see, that's what Malcolm was able to do. Malcolm was able to rap. I mean, he didn't do it in rhyme, but he was able to intellectually kick it to that point where, like, and so that's why they would probably say that, like he was a rapper to that degree. But hip hop is a lifestyle.
and his foot was impeccable. Too.
His flow was impeccable. His flow was impeccable. But hip hop is a lifestyle. It's an identity. It's a culture. It has to do with the way that you talk. It has to do with the way that you dress. It has to do with the way that you move. I mean, it takes all of that into consideration. Right.
Right. I love it. That's why we love the culture. Sometimes let me tell you, I've had conversations with other friends of mine. Who said, "Oh, we something of culture, you talking about, like another black, other black folks. And I say to them, why is it that you so against us having something that we, appreciate? No, it's not perfect. No, it's not perfect. That's the whole point. Nothing is perfect. You continue to evolve it. And this particular thing was something that many of us gravitated to and have helped us in our lives. Every time I picked up the pen to run, I'm telling you, God was going to kill me. And I sat down and I wrote, and it's going to be a murder. They can't live without chaos and mayhem. They have to come. So now I got to straight and talking about laying me to rest that easy. I'm going to be right in his face. He's still going to feed me 5 times a day. I prayed to the force of time, but now I got to come to automatic Uzi power. You don't know the whole rundown because what goes around comes around. I bet he thought I was soft and low key, but this is the jungle. He'll be my next trophy. I'm going to dance with the devil. Listen, Corey, you will become chick, honey, that's Corey, trying to tell me you're away from the world of a girl and a child. So I'm going to get buck wild.
I'm gonna get buck wild. That's right. Yeah.
All that right there. I had to get that out before I actually went and did that.
Yeah.
I didn't do it because I was able to get rid of it, to take it off now, because I knew how to run.
Right.
And some of these people don't understand it because they don't know it. They don't live the culture. Just because you got braids or trans or because you know how to speak it or because you grew up in the neighborhood doesn't mean that you grew up hip hop.
Well, and it's the other part that goes along with that, Cavell. The thing is that hip
But I
hop,
grew up hip hop, man. I grew
right?
up hip hop, man.
Yeah, but see,
I grew up hip hop, man. Day one.
yeah, but see, that's a generational shift. It was a generational shift.
Somebody from the generation I'm from saying that.
Okay.
They fell into the negative narrative of their own culture. You're not even a fan of your own culture. You're so want to step into somebody else's and dress like this and have them chew on your back.
Right.
But you can't walk in the place. You can't walk in the place and be yourself. You with me and you together. We outside talking. You then we walk into another venue and all of a sudden you gotta change. You can't keep that with you as you move.
Some people can't do it. Some people can't do it, man. But some people can't do it, man. You know what I mean? Some people can't. Some people haven't embraced it, and they don't embrace it because they don't understand it to that degree. Because and we say it all the time. There's nothing that you're going to do to stop it. You are not going to stop it. You and it's not. It's just understanding the evolutionary idea of culture. It's understanding that as the idea. There was nothing that could be done to stop the blues. There was nothing that could be done to stop jazz. There was nothing that could be done to stop rock and roll. There was nothing because culture evolves. It evolves. It always has. It always has in America. It has always, in the world, it always has, And so you're not going to stop the evolution, even though you might want to take it back. You might want to make America great again and try to pull the culture back. It's not going to work. It's not going to work because culture moves forward. It don't move backwards. It moves forward. The only way you're going to be able to do it, the only way that you'll be able to successfully do it, you're going to have to dominate it with ICE agents. That's what you. And even today, man, I'm seeing that these ICE agents, man, are now being approached by the police, by NYPD police, and saying, "Yo, do you have a warrant to take that person off the street? If you don't have a warrant to take that person on the street, then get back in your car and go wherever the hell you going. But you are not allowed in my jurisdiction to take a person off the street if you don't have a warrant." Straight up.
So now listen, we coming down to the last 10 minutes of the show, and so we've had a great conversation all day. I love what we do here, man, on New Day Community, man, cultural insights, American 360. Of course, the Quick Hidden Digital Experience, man, from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock every Sunday, right here on New Day Community. We out here. I want to come back to this here, man. Everything we talked about today, man, whether that was real quick sports, and whether that was, let's talk real quick, whether we were talking about Kevin Durant, Shea Gilgeous Alexander, Terrence One Common, even down to now this conversation. Even though the dream is finally in reach, there have been so many dreams achieved. Dream, pushing that, like y'all said, I've been to the mountaintop. And I was told, and so that was the pushing up of the rock all the way to the top. It's there. Now it's dropped over, as we say. The dream is finally in reach. Are we ready to protect it? Are we ready to protect it? That's the question. The dream is in reach, and are we ready to protect it? With the rest of the folk who have put in the time.
That's the question.
All right, and we're tonight here. And I would say at 73, long time, I would say a survivor, but a survivor of my own ill-willed thoughts, going through the forest of my own mind. That's where I can say now, unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, not doubt, but a shadow even, without a shadow of a doubt, yes. Because I faced the external, the bullets, the knives, even just of somebody showing up just to say, contesting whatever they think that they have to contest about. The point is, do you have faith? And that's what it takes to bring about the courage to stand. But you have to be very, very wise in knowing what you're going up against, how you're going to go up against it. And timing is everything.
I believe that without a shadow of a doubt, timing is everything. This time is the time. I have seen it. I see it every day. And I know this is the moment for victory. This is the moment to keep going. This is the moment to not give in. This is the moment to shed the narrative. This is the moment, right, to not allow for those things to be carried, just for you to carry that anymore. You don't need to carry it. Do you need to understand it? Of course. You can't go into anything without understanding it. That's what makes those great basketball players, right? Kevin Durant has been able to get to 31,000 points over it because of the detail. Understanding the game he's playing, not just playing it. Right? Common was able to become an Emmy winner, an Academy Award winner, a Golden Globe winner. Understanding the strategy necessary to get to those things. These are the things that we must continue to try to transition and traverse to, and as we traverse, continue to stand with those who are younger than us and continuing to grow. One thing my father used to tell me, man, which I think was always so interesting. Again, I've had many conversations with my father in which I dropped incredible jewels on him, and he'd be like, and I go, yeah, he said that, man. And it's the pillar of our lives. You should at least remember that one thing that you said. You know what I mean? He dropped so many jewels that I'm remember them all because they were all so interesting. And one of them, man, that always sticks out with me is you must remember who you are, Kivel. If you allow people to press your big red button on your chest, you used to say that to me place to be emotional. You said, anybody can walk up and press that thing. You gotta cover your button. You gotta cover your button and not allow people to just pick you off somewhere. I think we've taught our generations of young people, man, over the last 60 years, 40 years, to cover their buttons. And they're starting to become very good at that. And in that, we've seen much more rational thought, much more information, what it is that's coming in terms of the future. That's, of course, on a financial level. I believe that financially, there's so much more conversation in our communities about financial wealth. Coming back to Brother Elder Shamsuddin, again, who we wish Jenna. The team was able to build businesses.
That's right.
Families. And so we have to go back to that as one of the pillars of our communities, is to build businesses that sustain families. If you walk around in your neighborhood and you don't see businesses that reflect you, start to think about how you can build those businesses and spread that message to your young people. Businesses matter. They help to sustain families. And be a part of the community. Don't run away from your community. Engage. Get involved in your police department. Go and get involved in, your community board meetings that have to do with what's going on inside of your schools. There's school districts that you can go to, council meetings that you can go to. Sometimes, especially in today's world where we have so much technology, you can just click a link and you're live right inside of some of these meetings where you can hear what's happening, how money is being delegated to what program or to what communities or to what schools. And you can have a voice. You can write a letter. Know who your governor is, who your mayor is, who your senator is, who your congress people are. These are things we can do, and they're very simple. They don't take a lot, and with technology, as we talked about, Pop, with social media, with technology, you have all of these devices that you can immediately email somebody what's going on, or you can go ahead and jump on a Instagram DM, Facebook. There's so many ways to get involved, and we should. It's important for us to remember we are the foundation of what it is that's happening today, and we can be curious for what it is what to take our families, communities, our world into the future.
No doubt.
Continuing to invest heavily in the generations that we have. Listen, as always, 3 hours on the video, which we really appreciate you. My name.
Wow, it went that quick? That was quick, man.
Yeah, man, it goes by quick, man.
It does.
And it's an incredible thing. I mean, we are the quick in digital experience. So it goes by
No doubt.
quick.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
This here was real quick sport. Let's talk real quick, and the conversation is moving again. The digital, quick and digital experience right here on a new day community radio. This is this crazy thing.
And American Muslim 360, cultural insights.
Some 360 cultural insights, man. I mean, we doing it.
Yep.
So once again, thank you for joining us again on Wonderful Sunday. We look forward to seeing you next Sunday. Thanks to my co-hosts. Appreciate y'all for letting me come by, hang out, and the listeners.
Walaikum assalam. Sister Martha, any last words that you want to say before we go out with Go Hard by Mr. Kivel?
Oh, yes. At 5 p.m., join us here on American Muslim 360 and A New Day for Islam Community Radio as we continue to collaborate. And we ask you to donate. Go to cwsc.us.
That's right.
Collaborate definitely with the quick hitters. It's now coming more to focus, Kivel. We had to get some things done, but now, praise be to Allah, we are on the right train. So we will connect with you, inshallah, especially with the educational piece that you shared. And we look forward to everyone. Join us at 5 p.m. Forgive my voice. I've really been talking a lot. 5 p.m. today, back here on the #1 Islamic National Broadcasting Network.
Yes.
And along with A New Day for Al Islam Community Radio.
Yes.
We thank Allah for everyone. Please donate again to the cwsc.us. You're helping much more than you think. Praise be to Allah.
Thank you, Sister Martha. And here we go with Mr. Kivel. This is what we do. We ain't gonna stop. We're gonna continue. We're going to continue. We're going to continue to go hard, to keep it moving, to make it happen. And so here we go.
True for real, but it's we us, we everybody united. Though it's suffering, grinding, never faded, divided, always aligning. There's always wealth and timing. They remind, so I'm grinding. My spirit's at peace, so I teach, reach to the street. Chairman seeps the beat, defeat the speech, precise, no peak. Sneak in messages, combat, your aggressiveness. They know in school, doing the job. Kids in school, doing the job. I'm in school, doing the job. I got a whole team, and they doing the job. Superstar, self-fam community in the world. We go hard for the beauty in our boys and our girls. I'm on ready to charge. Got a smile on my face and the weight going on. Watch the swagger with the household with my teenagers, fiends and place for shameless. Go hard for sameness. I go hard to remain this artist I am. I need this. Yeah, squad, right? Elizabeth Embassy is hating and jealousy.
Fine.
Okay, William, can you stop
Yeah.
the recording and then the live?
Okay, let me see if I can do that. First of all, they're not letting me into American Muslim 360.
You're the host.
Okay, let me, okay, I see where I'm at.
Find your page.